Again, this is a little bit of hold your breath type stuff for me. I want to make sure I cover the canvas. I always come back and repaint that stuff. And this is in light. This will be lighter. There's areas I'm going to put highlights in there. This is a little smidge darker, just a little bit. And I'm going to say cooler. A little cooler. Again, when this is done, this has to be lighter than that. Because that, again, is if there's light there, but it's reflected light. It's indirect reflected light. Let's block that hair in. What do we see? I've got to talk this stuff out. Well, what do you think I'm going to mix? You got it. Burnt sienna, ultramarine blue. And then that way it's easy to go, is that right? Pretty close. Pretty close. It's got some brown in it. Has some brown in it. He doesn't have like brown hair, but he doesn't have jet black either. Now my dad, who was a funky monkey, my dad had some Native American in him. He jet black hair, dark. I mean, that dark complected. If he got out in the sun, I mean, it was crazy how dark he would get. And so there's a shape. You know, make sure y'all see. There's this shape here, and then it kind of comes down abruptly. It's so easy. It's so easy to do that, but it's more like, and then it comes down, right? That military-looking kind of thing going on. My dad, who was actually a Marine, not that that had to do with my story, military. Jet black hair, absolute leather skin. I mean, his skin looked like that when he was out in the sun, and covered in freckles, which to me was really weird. Red mustache, and he never really ever one time I think had a mustache, and I guess that's why, because it was red, which he didn't have red eyebrows or anything, of course. That just was so weird. My mom was red-headed, or still is. Don't tell her I said she used to be, but now she's not. But, you know, people get older like me and their hair's not the same color. But my mom, fair skin, no freckles. Red hair, fair skin, no freckles. I thought that was just so strange when I was growing up, that my dad, who was jet black hair, Native American skin, red man, had a red mustache. That's okay. It's a little warm. It's a little warm. You should be able to see it. And that's again, that's a good point. Squinting my eyes, value's pretty close. Value is the level of dark. There may be a little darker I'll put in here. Edge quality's fine. The shape is fine. Temperature off. That this is too warm. So I'll fix that later. We're doing all right. Checking the time. Oh, I guess the time's right there. All right. So I'm going to leave that so bright there. I'm going to leave that like that. I'll probably just take this color and, well, no, let me not do that. That's silly. But it is warmer. I mean, it should be. It didn't show that way, but I mean, if it's in the sun, it should be warmer, right? That's way too dark. Way too dark. All right. Switch brushes. Switch brushing. Let's see what we're going to do here. We're going to see how this plays out. That's what I thought. Pushing this just a little. We're going to see how this plays out. Okay, I'm pushing it a lot. Knuckles are really warm. Here's what I mean. Light, shadow, cool, warm, warmest. Look at those knuckles. Like, it's easy to look at them and just see red. But that's going to help turn that form. Still too dark, but I had it on my brush. I felt obligated to use it. I'm going to wash the brush out. We're going to start with white. I'm going to add a touch of a touch of yellow is what I see. Right? You see that? Touch of yellow. Just in the really highlight part. Just a little bit. Warm it up just a little. It looks pretty good. So there's that. The nose, right? Nostril. This comes out. That's that. You know, when I step back, I can kind of see it. Transition. Definitely going to go warmer, red warmer, and a little bit lighter in a little bit. But for now, while we got that on the brush, what are we going to do? Yes, you got it. You're going to put the fingers in. They are bright. They are bright. painting fingers and feet. It was always, I think for most artists, it's like if I can paint that, I can paint anything. And I don't know why. Especially when they're spread out like this, they're just, you know, little sausage links or something. And, I mean, I gotta have them shaped right, and I don't really. When the shadows go in there, they'll look a little bit better. I'll define them a little bit more. That's too big. Touch there. Little, and I don't have this done, so this is premature. Little rim light, right? Rim light. Sneaky up on this stuff. Sneaky up on this stuff. And I'm guessing this is kind of farmer tan looking stuff here. I kind of see it. You see it too. Why did I not come down there? That was, let me go back small. That was interesting. No big deal. No big deal. We fix it right now. Fix it right now. Because I definitely need this. It's lighter, right? There's even, we're not done with this yet, but there's even, look at that. You see that? Never noticed that. Remember, these are acrylics. Restate. Yeah, we'll keep hitting that. But I want to put that belt in. Black? No, not black. It's dark, but it's not black. Not black. Dark, not black. God, black's so transparent. You wouldn't think it would be, but you almost have to put just a touch of white in it to make it opaque. That for now. I'll make that darker because it definitely is darker than I've got it. Too much water. If I didn't touch that at all, again, it'd be fine. I'm gonna bring that shirt up a little over that. Pure black, because this is still wet. Back here, starting to happen. We will, this dries. Of course, the hand's got a lot more work to do. We'll put the, I guess I could go ahead and do that. Shadows, just a little hint of shadow. What temperature is that shadow? You're better, in my opinion, and I think many artists' opinion, is to not just go, do I have time? Yeah, I have time. Not just to go, well, it's a shadow, let's make it black. You're better off, even if it's not there, to make a decision on, is it cool or is it warm? And because the hand is so warm, that's a cool shadow. It's a cool shadow. So that, yeah, I think that where I left that light is hand. I think so. So notice that again, that's not, I don't know if it shows well, but that is not just gray. It is definitely leaning toward blue. Just the whiskers of that brush. Just the whiskers. I don't want it to be that sharp-edged. I definitely don't. I'll fix it later. Backside of this. I'm gonna go ahead and do this, even though it's not there like that. I really need to cover that up. So the knuckle comes out, that comes down. Close, but not really. I've got this upright. It needs to be slanted more, right? Right. So let's try to fix it. I lightened that a little. It's better, it's not right. I cut off too much of that top, but starting to happen. Yeah, we'll hit this, I mean everywhere, it's not just there, but we will hit the highlights. Of course, I need to find his face, which is gonna probably be the toughest thing, but from back here, when I say back here, I'm standing probably 6 feet away. The dimensions, the proportions, the arm, head, I need a hair down, maybe, but it's I'm feeling it. I think it's ever reflected light. I like that. I'll put a little bit more of that in. We're basically, the main thing is getting the canvas covered, and I'm almost there. I probably next time, I don't know, I want to work on the background and get some of this cleaned up. That ear I gotta make smaller. We'll get this cast shadow from the ball on his chin. That's the last thing. What are we looking at? That's the last thing I want to do. So what is that? It's got, this sounds dumb, and I hear artists say this, and I understand what they're saying. I really do. But it sounds so dumb. It's a cool warm. It's got, look at that shadow. It's a cool light. Obviously, I say cool light. It's a cast shadow with reflected light, so it is cool, but it's on such a warm surface. Your eyeball goes back and forth, I think, between is it warm or is it cool, because that's, the value is important, of course, as well. The value is important. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Let's see what this does. This is normally, this is just textbook me. I push it. I look up and go, oh, it's cool. So I make it real damn cool, real damn warm. And I may not have it near dark enough. It's hard to tell down here. I'm going to put this in, whether it's right or wrong, as a violet. And actually I see it's not this dark, but I see some of it on his nose too. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one. It's just so subtle. So subtle. Trying to kill that edge. It can work. It works a little. It works a little. It works just a smidge. Play around forever, and I probably will. Playing with the temperatures, the value. I mean, you want areas that turn the form, and they're there. It's easy, and sometimes I like art that pushes it a little bit. Dan Gerhardt's is the master, absolute master, at putting cools and warms and things. And I mean, in the hair, it's green and purple and blue, and you're like, what? It just looks awesome. He's phenomenal. So we're going to see how that plays out. I kind of digging it. This is a little bold that I did just then. Just a wet brush is all that is. Just the tip of a wet brush. Yelp. I'm seeing it. This will get lighter, right? I'll do stuff like this. Yeah, we got to put a little more warmth in it, but I think you all kind of get the picture. Again, I am a temperature more so painter than worrying about color. And this, again, this one is, this painting is so much back and forth on that, which is awesome. I mean, it's just a nice example of pulls and warms, the whole thing. Andrew, his shirt, the ball, the background, all of it. So, nice little segment there, 42 minutes. So I've got to go. As I'm standing back here, it's looking about where I would want it to now. With again it's about this big dynamic story of him picking this ball up in this comp and whatever, which is cool. But the light is just cool. So I ain't stopping until I get it. And join me if you want.